450 TS build completed. Blades and the boom came in today. That's a Tarrant 480 boom, and it is torque tube, so it comes with the torque tube, of course. And those are Tarrant 345 blades. Somebody makes a 355 blade now. I'm actually looking into that, but it is completed. I did my first test flight of it today. I'm pretty happy with it. There's some software tweaks I want to do to the flybarless controller. For one, I don't set expos in the radio. I set it all in the flybarless controller. That way, when I change banks, I change the whole flight style of the helicopter. I have 3 banks. My initial bank, of course, is your takeoff and fly around bank. It's a little softer. And then, my second bank is my basic flight, a flip, a roll maybe. And then my third bank is when I want to really bang it around. So that's the nice thing about bank switching. V-Bar has it. I love the feature. Vortec, I'm told, does have it. And the Icon. There's only 3 I know of that do have bank switching. And all it is your flight modes are all set up on the controller. So you set your basic radio up, you leave it alone, you do it all in here. I mean, you can do it on the controller, but your flybarless controller has all the logistics in it to compute everything according to what you input. So I find it best with my V-Bar to do it that way, and that's how I'm doing it with this. Canopy wise, the Pro canopies are an easy, simple fix. The Pro 2s work. This one came with my order. I forgot I even ordered it. This does fit, but because it's narrower at the bottom, it is tight on the bottom of the frames here because the clip is offset underneath. You can see it right there, but it does work. I sized it up. When you make the hole in it though, you're going to come all the way back to here. It's further back, but I don't care. It works, and that's all that matters. So I'll probably go ahead and put that one on there. It's a new one, and make the hose and just mount that one up. But yeah, first flight. I haven't really done nothing with the wiring yet because I wanted to do some initial test flights. All I did was double sticky tape my SAT there for the test flight. I haven't figured out where I'm putting that yet. I may bring it right out the side of the frame, have the antenna sticking out the side, put one on each side. I don't know yet. I did leave the tail servo down there, and I put the carbon control rod on it. I got it centered out and working. I centered the wheel. I turned the servo on, centered it, of course, on the flybarless controller. Put the ball link on, and then all I did was I had it about halfway threaded onto this side, put it on, then adjusted the threads on that end to center it out. It's easier to slide the whole servo, but hey, it works. So it flew nice. I mean, all of my 450s fly nice, and usually when I build them, I don't have no problem getting them off the ground. I can tell you that this motor is smooth. If you buy cheap motors, a lot of times you'll have a vibration issue. First thing I noticed with this is when I took off, I had no vibration. Now, most of the time with my helicopters, I don't have a vibration issue because I go through and check my bearings and everything as I'm assembling them. If the bearing is questionable, I replace it with a new bearing. I oil my bearings. I'm kind of meticulous when I build one. I mean, these things, they spin at thousands of RPMs, and if something flies apart, it can be dangerous for spectators. So everybody out there who flies, take care of what you're flying. It's not just you, it's the people around you. But the motor's real smooth, and I've noticed even the Align motors, a lot of people complain about vibrations, and 3 out of 4 times, 3 out of 5 times, it's the motor. This motor, it spun right up. There was no vibration in it. It went right into a hover. My tail was a little twitchy. I need to turn down my gains a little bit probably. I'll handle that today. But other than that, it flew great. I am using the new Edge controller, and I programmed the white wire, that's the extra wire on the new one. It can be programmed as an arm, a disarm, a phase sensor, which is what I'm using it for. I'm feeding Icon the information for the governor. Governor on the Icon seems to fly real well. On a 450, never had an issue with the Castle. Everybody swears that it's not a great governor. I've got my 600, and I flew the governor on it for 6 months. The Castle governor works great. You have to tweak it. I mean, you have to go in, raise the gains, adjust things. Once you get it right, it does work fine. But everybody swears that, you know, your flybars controllers are better. I've used my V-bar governor when I went to the KDE motor on my 600. It was the 530 motor for the 600 Pro. And I went to a Scorpion 130 amp ESC. It's a little larger than what I really need, but it comes with an 80 amp, and that was fine until I went to the KDE motor, and I noticed I was peaking 85 amps quite a bit, 90 sometimes when I would hammer it down. So I went ahead and upped it. I had a Scorpion Commander 5 in the drawer, pulled it out, put it on, hooked the phase sensor up to the V-bar, because it has phase sensing built into it also, and it works good. So the new Edge is slightly larger than the original Ice 50. This is an original, and if I put it right next to the Edge, you can see that it's a little bit bigger, and if you put them on top of each other, it is a little bit thicker than the original Ice. They changed the packaging a little bit. I'm sure there's more in there because of the programmable second wire. But it's the same price as the original Ice. I'm sure they're phasing these out now. So before long, you'll probably get them on a clearance on Castle's site. Probably for about 60 bucks or less. New. This is nice. The KST servos. I mean, they're a clone. Okay, yes they are. But you know what? They work fine. I mean, I put them all in. They spun up. I have them in another 450. The last set of 4 I bought, I did have one that was bad. I got them from Aloft Hobbies. I contacted them. They mailed me another one out the next day. Not a problem. They just told me to send the other one back in the mail, and I did. So, it's a 450, guys. I mean, it is the new TS frame. I like where the motor's at. I like the direct to swash on 90 degrees, because if you look, all the control linkages, when they're at 90, are truly at 90. They're not at 45. They're not at, 80. They're truly at 90 whenever they're squared up. That's nice. Gives you good, even geometry. I mean, I set this thing up, put it in the air, boom, done. So, if you've looked at one, they're nice. The mechanics are interchangeable with the Pro, but the frames are not. So if you damage the frames, you're either going to make a frame yourself if you have the ability, or you're going to have to order the frame or the bearing blocks. That's the only things that are not interchangeable. The actual side frames and the bearing blocks, the main bearing blocks, are not interchangeable. Everything else is Pro interchangeable. Well, this was the final build. A little small review of the flight. Once I tweak out the flybars controller and do something with my wires, I will probably do a flight video of it. So just look for that. I've got a few things coming up with work. Payroll, it's first of the week, and payroll is a 3-day process for me. So probably by this coming up next weekend, I might have a flight video ready. You all enjoy. Have a good one.